Good morning. Welcome to Mayor's Weekly, and this morning we're going to give you an update on the paving that's going on in our city. Before we move into that, we had some feedback maybe 2 weeks back from Judy Peoples. And Judy, I want to thank you for your very kind words and let you know that anytime that we can help you at City Hall, we hope to hear from you. But again, thank you for your kind words regarding this city. Joining me this morning is Brent McCarver, our city planner, and Brent's been feet on the ground with our paving project from the time we started preparing to let the bids, and now we're in motion. And Brent, I know you'll touch on it too. The weather has not been our friend at all, and nothing we can do about that. But we'll talk a little bit about where does the paving take place. I had a gentleman call yesterday and denounced my performance because we hadn't paved any roads in West Jasper, and of course we know that that's not, and that we hadn't finished 9th Avenue on time, and I touched on the weather. But Brent, you have a schedule, you have a map where all the paving is going to take place, is taking place, that sort of thing. But maybe to appease this gentleman, let's talk about West Jasper for just a minute.
The upcoming project is obviously over $1 million worth of paving. The overwhelming majority,
close to $2 million.
Close to 2, yeah. It's about 1.9 when you round it all up. The majority of the roads that are going to be milled, overlaid, milled and paved are in the 5th district. The second number is in the 4th district. Third number is in District 1. The District 2 would be...
So we'll go back, we'll reiterate that. District 5 and District 4 will get the bulk of the paving that's going to take place in this phase.
The way that you do it from an engineering standpoint is they list it by the length of the road, how many, they actually come down to how many feet, linear feet, are getting paved.
Right.
It's not about whether you're paving 3rd Avenue or Jones Avenue or whatever. So the majority, the overwhelming majority of the feet, linear feet being paved would be ranked by District 5, then 4, then 1, then 2, then 3. 3 is the last one.
Brent, before you were city planner, I first came to office a couple of years in, we had a major paving project, and we can go back documented and see exactly what we paved then in what district. So if anybody questions what we paved and what we've done, we have hard data to share, don't we?
One of the things too that came to light during this process, where again you put in place that we actually have an independent engineering firm that tells us who the worst roads are, who really needs it, why they need it, what they need. When we got this back from Sane Engineering, one of the things that has happened, and I'll say this, it's in the 5th district. This is from years before. This didn't happen in the last 7 years. I'll say that part of it too is when we went to what this project is a complete mill and overlay resurfacing, meaning these are roads that are bad, had to be dug up and redone.
Right.
Before, in a lot of the projects we've done some micro surfacing, some crack sealing, some other things like that, where we actually did more roads, but from a money standpoint, the work was a little different. Reason I bring that up, 5th district, 4th district specifically had more roads that needed to be dug up and redone. And again, that didn't happen in the last 7 years.
That didn't happen in the last year or so, did it?
So this whole project is that type of paving. It's big time paving. Not to get ahead of you, but that's what we're seeing on 9th Avenue. When we got it dug down, you can do all the little core samples and things in the world, but when you really dug it down, I think it ended up in some places being close to 6 inches, started seeing some of the issues. We got to rethink what we're going to do before we put the surface back. And then of course 4 consecutive days of thunderstorms and you know, just.
And more to come, it
Yeah,
appears.
yeah.
But we'll go to 9th Avenue, and then we haven't gone to sleep at the switch.
No.
But the contractor, the engineering firm, and our message to the contractor and the engineering firm has been very straightforward and easy to understand. We want 9th Avenue fixed.
We want it fixed and fixed
We
right.
don't know how to fix it. That's
Right.
why we have you hired.
Right.
And that's what's happening right now. There's a collaborative effort between contractor and the engineering firm.
Right.
And what you're seeing, and I didn't know this, had no reason, probably before I was born, some point in time, 9th Avenue was a concrete roadway. And then asphalt doesn't bond to concrete, as asphalt bonds to asphalt. And so
Right.
those things are having to be worked through, and we are apologetic for the delay, but all of it is beyond our control. And Brent, I drove that stretch of road just today, and we need to tell the contractors, because of all this rain, there's some potholes developing. I know they put material in it,
Right.
but that needs to be revisited right away. And we've had a couple of people that have had damage to their cars, and we get them with a contractor and to work through that.
Right. They have a claims person. Of course, they're welcome to call us or email us or whatever here at the city. But basically, the contractor, understanding when they got down to the bottom what was to come, they've got a claims person in their office that works with us on anything like that. I know Russ and Billy in the street department are working with them in the meantime on marking manhole covers and trying to maybe throw some cold mix in, which is not. I also got this phone number. We understand we're not putting cold mix down,
No.
but in the meantime of this weather phase we're in, to
It's
fill
a patch till
potholes,
you
right,
can get the final
exactly.
plan in place and go forward. And looking at the weather forecast, it's wet the rest of this week. It
Right.
looks like maybe it breaks off next week, but none of us can control. That's
Right.
been one of the wettest years I can ever remember. Now we've talked about District 4, District 5 getting the most of the paving that comes out of this phase of paving, and but there's some paving happening in other districts across the
Sure.
city.
One of the things that has happened too, the list was generated when we picked the streets or roads to be paved. That's from the engineer's worst, most needed down list. But once that list got made, the actual contractor, and this makes sense, you Mayor will certainly understand this, from an efficiency standpoint, they paved them based on area. So in other words, there may be a worse road somewhere, but if it's on the other side of town from where they started, which at our direction they started at 9th Avenue, they pave as they move their material, the machinery through. So with that in mind, you'll probably be seeing stuff on the western to southern end of town to begin with. I know we've already had work done at Mall Way, but you'll start seeing little sections where what they've promised us with the weather is the intent, and 9th Avenue just got caught, was to mill and come right in behind and pave. So we're probably going to move west to east and probably south to north as they move through, just again geographically for efficiency.
It's extremely expensive to deploy that equipment. It's not like picking up your backpack and walking 3 blocks over
Exactly.
to go get that. They have to be strategic
Exactly.
in their thinking to minimize that cost, and as they minimize costs, that impacts our costs.
That's
And that's
exactly
what
right.
we want. So the paving's underway. We welcome your questions. Please understand, most of what we do in this city, the vast majority that we document today. Had a person call in that complaining that one of our police officers had been rude to her and that sort of thing. And so this was just a couple of days ago. And what I told the lady, I said, in fairness to that police officer, I need to look at the body cam footage. That officer's got a body cam on him, and listen to the conversation, and then act based on what I learned from that. Well, it was kind of interesting when I talked about we have body cam footage that I can look at, that the problem went away. Maybe the officer wasn't rude to them. You know, and we're not above critique and criticism, let me say that. But what I will tell you, just like nothing's happened in District 4, we can refute that very, very easy and document it. So, but don't ever hesitate to come see us. But if you don't have your ducks in a row, you might be disappointed in what you find. Is that right, Brent?
I think so.
Yeah.
I tell you, and you mentioned earlier, Mayor, before we go, the paving is a 105-day contract.
Right.
We've had some calls over there, and you know, you didn't get it done in time or whatever. The paving is, we know going in, there's 105 days to complete it, which gets into August.
Yeah.
So we're certainly not behind or out of time, and
If they could do it all in one day, they could start on day 104.
Exactly.
Right, okay, good. But let us hear from you. We want to help you, and if your vehicle's been damaged, let us know. That needs to be documented just to show up and say, well, I had a tire go bad. Or it takes more than that. We'll get you with the contractor and their claims folks, and we'll go from there, right?
Yes, sir.
So, glad to have you with us, and we'll be with you next week. But wanted to give you the update on the paving, and again, let us hear from you if you have needs, concerns, and we'll be busy about trying to accommodate you. Thank you.